Okay. Today is July the July 7th, 2018.
You got it on there right.
Yeah, we're just talking, and
Yeah.
um, we are memorializing my great aunt Sarah Minkins, who has come to visit us here in Staten Island, New York, and she's going to be sharing her truth about her
Right.
life experiences and her lessons to share for the generations to come so that you all can benefit from her wisdom and her life experience. So how you doing today, Sarah?
I'm doing beautiful. I'm 80.
Oh, you're 89?
I'm 89
Yeah,
years
you
old.
were born when?
May 7th, 1929.
Yeah.
And
Where were you born?
y'all can say, I don't know if I was born in Virginia
Oh, you might have been
or,
born in Virginia, huh? You're
yeah,
not sure where you were born.
no. I'm not sure because my father died 3 months before I was born.
Uh-huh.
And my mother lived in North Carolina when I was large enough to remember. But my mother did not raise me. And I lived with my auntie who came and took me out of a box that my mother had left me in with my legs and things crossed. And whenever she came and took me, she picked me up, legs and everything came with me. And she raised me until I was 8. And she used to make me clothes. She cooked for me. And at that time, she was doing housework for other people who was paying her $3 a month.
Wow.
No, a week.
Okay, $3 a week.
Yeah,
Okay,
they were paying her
wow.
$3 a week.
Uh-huh.
And she took care of me.
Yeah.
And she used to make me clothes and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
And she lost her eyesight when I was 8.
Oh, when you were 8, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Emma?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my aunt who was raising me lost her eyesight when I was 8 years old. And my mother still didn't have nothing to do with me.
Mm.
But my grandmother, who was a slave at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and she was sold to the Barkers in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
where she was born
Uh-huh.
in Mississippi. And my grandfather, who was born in Mississippi, he was sold to the Kennedys in North Carolina. And they met there and
Now,
got married.
this is a picture of your great grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she looked
Yeah,
just like
this is a
Simon.
picture of the great grandmother. Wow. The great grandmother. Okay, you can. That's Amy Barker Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
She was born into slavery.
That's right.
Great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And after my aunt lost her eyesight, my great grandmother came to live with us. Well, she she was a slave, and the Barkers, well, whoever, when the slave was over, they sold her to the Barkers in North Carolina. And my grandfather, I don't know who she were, but he was a Kennedy, and he was born in the slave, and he was sold in North Carolina to the Kennedys, and that's why how we got our last names. Whoever our grandparents were sold to, they inherited that person's name. And my grandfather and my grandmother met, and they got married, and that's how I became a Kennedy, and all the rest of the Kennedys around. Anyway, my grandmother came to live with us, and she stayed with us until she passed away. And they used to come through town and bring barrels of, what do you call those things? baskets.
That's it.
Basket of peaches
Uh-huh.
and sometimes apples.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And she used to buy them and she used to can them in jars because we didn't have any refrigerators then.
Mm-hmm.
And she never taught me how to can anything, but she did teach me how to cook. And I could cook by as good as she did, and especially I was very good on business until I left and started rambling through the world. Then I stopped cooking. In fact, I stopped cooking most anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So
Eh,
now you were saying that in order to leave because you
yeah, I kept begging.
yes.
Yeah, my after I turned well, my aunt, my one of my aunts who lived across town from me, she got me a little job in the warehouse when I was about 11 or 12, and I used to have earn money. That was after my aunt had lost her eyesight, and there wasn't no money too tough coming in. And then my brother, after my uncle died, who raised my two brothers, they went to live with my mother's brother. But the baby boy wasn't able to live there because anything happened in the family, he did it, and he got punished for it. So one day he decided he wasn't going to take it anymore. So he tied the mule up in the field and came to Kingston, Kinston, where I was living. And he knocked on the door and he told my aunt, "Don't say nothing to me because I'm not going back." That's exactly what he told her. And so he stayed and he got him a job at the fish market, who was right across the railroad track. And that's where we stayed until the latest house that we were living in, she decided she wanted it. So then he and found us a nice place to live. And that was the first time, I don't remember the year now, but I do remember that was the first place I ever lived with a bathtub and an indoor toilet. And that's where I stayed. Or I did. I begged my family to let me leave home.
How old were you when
I
that
was
happened?
17,
Mm-hmm.
and my aunt and them didn't want me to leave, but I kept begging and pushing and begging, and I kept telling them, I said, "Now, y'all don't want me to go into place just because I'm 17. You think I'm not large enough to take care of myself." I said, "But it's better for me to get out there now and can't take myself and discover it. Then I have a home to come back to." I said, "But if I don't go now, when y'all go, what is going to happen to me then if I haven't been in the world and know what to do?" And so I kept that up until they decided to turn me loose. All right?
Okay, and where did you go after when the first place you ventured out from?
Yeah, the first time I left home, I got on the bus, and at that time, they wasn't letting colored people ride all over the bus. I got on the back seat, and I went to Miami, Florida. And when I got there, I got off the bus, and I don't know, I always meet
And
nice people that help me.
and that was Miami, Florida from Kinston, North Carolina, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what happened in Miami, Florida?
I uh, I talked my way through and got someone to help me get a job in uh, in the white person house, of course, because at that time I don't think they were hiring too many colored people. And it was in Myrtle Beach. I had to take a some over to get to Myrtle Beach from Miami to work every day. And as I worked, every time I got a payday, I would send my family something to let them know that I was doing okay. I didn't try to keep all the money for myself. I would let them have a little bit too. So this way they didn't worry about me. And I think I stayed in Miami about 2 years. And then I went back home. And when I got back home, my grandmother was sick. And so then I stayed there and helped take care of her. And when she passed away, then I couldn't leave my aunt then. And fresh as I were, I wound up with a baby. And her name was Adele. And she grew up to be a grown young lady and worked and took care of herself. Oh, my aunt from Philadelphia came down, uh, helped me raise her. And so I stayed in North Carolina until 1951 after my aunt died. I stayed in North Carolina until 1951. My brother, James Jr., yeah, James, after he after he stayed so long, he left after my grandmother came. He left and went to New York. And so after my aunt died, I went to New York. And that was 1951 when I went to New York. And I haven't lived in North Carolina since. I left New York and met a young man there, got married to him. We couldn't get along, and I had a child, and he wanted me to take care of that child and him. And you know, mother was not going to do that because I had never had a father, and so I didn't need to take care of no man. And I met another man. He came to my house one day. I was out, and him and my first husband ate. Didn't get rid of him since. And don't ask me what year that was, because I don't remember. But anyhow, I was with him until he passed away, which is in 2014.
Okay,
But he,
tell us more about Mr. Mickens.
oh, Mr. Mickens, well, all I can say is I don't know what he was to other people, but he was wonderful to me, and that's all I knew about, and that's all I cared about. And he drank. He was a womanizer. He played the lottery. He played cards too. But that didn't bother me at all because he took care of me. And he got a good job, and he kept getting promoted and promoted and promoted. And so when he got sick, we went to Lexington to the hospital, and it took a couple of bones out of his neck. And about a half a year after that, because it didn't seem to heal that well, and half a year after that, he went to his job because the doctor told him he could have a desk job. He didn't want him to work like he was before. And so he went to his boss and told him that he wanted a desk job. And his boss looked at it and told him, said, no, I'm not going to give you a desk job. And so the boss, he wanted to know why. He said, because you're going to have to retire anyway in a few years. And if I cut your salary now, you'll be getting cheaper money than you would get if I give you a cheaper job. And so he said, no, I'm going to retire you right now, and that was 1990. He retired him at the salary he was working when he was a foreman, because he had worked himself up to a foreman. And he had people all working under him. And he was making pretty good money. And he always let me handle the money because he loved the women, he liked to drink, he liked to gamble. He knew that. And I knew it too. So that's why we never had no arguments over money. What he did was call me and ask me to come to his job and collect his money and take it to the store and buy the liquor and take it home and put it under the shelf. And he didn't even drink store-bought liquor. He drank the man in the woods or whatever you call it.
Moonshine.
Yeah, he drank moonshine.
Yeah.
But every year we would kill a horse, have a barbecue, and everybody come by was invited. And I had two friends. And when I mean friends because they'd help me cook collards, potato salad, and help me clean them. And one of his friends would help him cook the hog. And he'd cook a hog, and everybody come by, could eat and drink. And he store liquor, that's what he gave to the people, because he didn't like that store-bought liquor. And that went on until after he got sick. That went on until he had a couple of bones taken out of his neck because they wasn't doing like they do now. Now they could stick you somewhere in your neck and clean that stuff up. But now, at their time, the only thing they knew would take them out. So they took them out. And that's when the doctor told him that to get a desk job. And his boss told him, said, no, I'm not going to give you no desk job. He said, I'm going to retire you so you can get retired at the salary you are at now. Because if I retire you and give you a desk job, your salary is going to drop and you're going to be retired anyway. So this is what happened.
Okay.
In 1990, that's when his boss retired him.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about when you first got to New York and you started working there. What type of job did you have?
Oh, when I first got to work in New York, when
Yeah.
I first went to New York, there was a lady downstairs who was working in the hospital. I forget her name now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she told me, she said, she said, you can be a nurse's helper.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I never worked in the hospital. She said, oh, that's all right, come on, I'll take you. So she and I went to the hospital, and she introduced me to the boss. And she asked me, did I have to work in the hospital? I told her no. And she said, well, okay, we'll try it. We tried it. I was a nurse's helper. I did that so well. Next thing, they put me in a room with, I think there was 14 patients in there. And I had 7, and another lady had 7. And we took care of them. And the head nurse would come by and check them and all of that. And then the boss, the head lady, she would always come by, and she would always find me doing something. And so then she asked me, she said, oh, Miss Kennedy, how would you like to go and take specimens to the lab? I said, I'll try. Anything they asked me to do, I told them I'd try. And they said, okay. She said, okay. So tomorrow when you come in, I want you to start taking specimens to the lab. And I did. I did that. And I did that so well until this was head lady looking at me now. She said, oh, I know you're doing all this so good. So how about trying to draw blood? I said, I never draw no blood or nothing about blood. She said, I'll get somebody to teach you or show you, she said. I said, okay, I'll try it. Anything they asked me to do, I tell them I tried. I never turned down trying to do nothing because they always tell me if it didn't work out, I didn't have to keep it. And I started drawing blood. And I got so I could draw blood. They put me on the 5th floor, and that was supposed to be the rich floor. And that's where I stayed until she decided then she wanted me to go in the lab and work in the lab. Like when they bring specimens down, and we would fix them up and put them in a machine, and take them out, and the nurse would come by and read, read whatever was on the specimens. And that's where I was working when I left the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
in bacteriology lab. And I was working with 3 people. There was me, an African lady, I think she was from Africa, and I don't know if she's Jewish, some kind of foreign lady. I don't remember her name now.
Yeah.
But anyway, there were 3 of us.
Yeah.
And we used to get paid every other week. And every other week we'd go different restaurants to eat.
Yeah,
We'd go to
together.
one of my brands.
Yeah.
And next payday we'd go to her brand, and
Right.
next week we'd go to the other brand. And this way we went around to all these restaurants trying out different food.
Yeah, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
always
nice.
worked together. And each week, one of us would bring the coffee. No, we had a coffee pot in bacteriology lab, and one of us would buy the coffee, and the other one would stop by and bring the donuts and stuff. But us in the morning, we get time to have our donuts and coffee before we went to work.
That was nice.
Yeah, we did that every morning, and that's the way it was until I met this young man, Mr. Mickens.
Yes.
I went home one day after I was off because of that kind of job in the hospital, you didn't have no special job. You rotated. And so I was off that day, and I decided to cook. And so I cooked before I left. And my husband come home, and he brought a young man with him. And they ate all the food I cooked. And I told them, I said, y'all better go get me something to eat now. And so one of them, I don't know which one went now, to get me some food. And so when he came back, in fact, he never left. I don't think he missed a week from seeing me or coming to my house.
Mr. Mickens.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Mr. Mickens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so now when you went down with Mr. Mickens to South Carolina, how was that experience? What was that trip like?
Oh, with my husband Mickens.
Yeah.
The first one, his mother was up there, and there was two brothers. Yeah, two brothers and two sisters up there.
Were you talking about Mickens or Murphy?
Murphy's now.
Okay.
That's the first husband.
Okay, first husband. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was my first husband. His name was Master Murphy, and he had two sisters and two brothers up there. And his mother came up, and she got sick. So each week, one of member of the other families would pay for a nurse to stay with the sister, and take care of the mother, so the sister didn't lose her job.
I understand that you mentioned that Mr. Murphy was part Indian.
Yeah, Murphy was for Indian, and that was Max's father. His father was Indian, I think, yeah, and his mother was American. And I don't know whether that was because Philip was so sweet. Everybody loved him. Everybody saw him loved him. And when we came down to South Carolina, he was in the 6th grade, and no, he was in 2nd grade, but he was 6 years old. And they couldn't understand why he was so advanced. And they wanted to put him back. But you don't know Mother. She went to school. And I went down there, and he was writing cursive at 6th grade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now, by the time you got down there, you went down there with Mr. Mickens.
Oh yeah, Mr. Mickens took me down there.
Yeah. So now, how did you transition from Mr. Murphy to Mr. Mickens?
Oh, that was easy.
Tell us about it.
Well, Mr. Murphy came down with Mr. Mickens after Mr. Mickens had bought the trailer for us. And he helped build the septic tank because I was living in the country, my first trip, living in the country. And he went down before I did, and Murphy went with him, and he helped him dig the septic tank and everything.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then he went back, and while he went back, I came down. Mr. Mickens sent for me, and I came on down. And after I got down here, well, Murphy had made friends down here too, although he lived in not Lugar. Somewhere he lived down here in South Carolina, because his family was from South Carolina too. And when I came down to the funeral, he says to me, he looked at me, he said, "Are you going to make a lunch?" And I said, "Make a what?" That's his Murphy. I said, "Make a what?" He said, "A lunch, so we have something to eat." I said, "If you can't afford me to go on the train to bury your mother, I will not go." I said, "I'm not making no sandwiches." I said, "We can eat on the train now. They allow us in the dining room." I said, "If you can't afford to buy me food on the train, I'm not going." Just like that. So he said, "Oh, come on here." So I don't know where he got the money from, but he got the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the cafeteria, and that was my first time ever eating duck. I'd never seen a duck before, not that I could remember. I've probably seen it, but didn't remember it.
Yeah.
And peanut soup.
Mm.
I had We had duck, peanut soup, and I don't know what else they had with it. Some kind of vegetables. But anyway, I like the duck. I like the peanut soup too. But, well, you know what he wanted? He wanted a bottle of liquor. So that didn't bother me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he could not beat me up anyhow. Because I tell any woman that she got a man, he's not going to hit her a bit harder if she fight back or if she don't. And they look at me when I tell them that. I say, you watch. I said, because there ain't no man on God's living earth that's going to put their hands on this piece of meat that God helped bring into this world and hit me and get away with it. And I meant it. And Murphy found it out. But one day I was home from work, and he came home in the bed. I believe it was the same day that Kennedy got killed. John Kennedy, I was president at that time. I think it was the same day he got killed. And he came in, and I was laying down. And he come in there with his garbage and crawled on the bed. I think he must have crawled on the bed. It hit me, and I scooped down because he was real tall. I scooped down, went under between his legs, and I got up his kitty and got it in my mouth, and I did not turn it loose. He was sorry that he ever hit me.
Wow.
And he didn't bother to try that trick no more. And after that, well, Murphy didn't know how to dance, but Simon did. And after he had brought Simon to my house, we were together, all three of us were together all the time, because I belonged to a lot of things in New York too, like Eastern Star, church, and different clubs and stuff like that. And I was always on the go after work. And we always give parties, and I was mixed up with a lot of different nationalities of people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't accept one nationality for my friends.
Yeah.
I even had Jehovah's Witness girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had quite a few of them. Yeah. And we just had a good time.
Right.
Yeah, that's what. And because Simon liked to dance.
Yeah.
Murphy didn't dance.
Right.
And so he would go, he'd drink, and me and Simon would dance through his thing.
Yeah.
We even went to a wedding one night, and it was a church wedding, believe it or not.
Yeah.
A pastor was getting married, and invited us because I went to church.
Yeah.
Always went to church.
Yeah.
And I was invited, and so they had to go with me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking at this church wedding was pastors and doctors, because I was friendly with my doctor too.
Right.
And after we went to this wedding, and someone that was in there looking so pitiful, because you know they didn't have no liquor there. They served orange juice
Right.
and different stuff. They serve stuff like that and different juices and stuff like that in church weddings.
Yeah.
Because this was a pastor getting married.
Right.
And so I don't think they were too anxious to go to me in another church wedding.
Wow.
But I don't think either one of them too particular about letting me out there outside. Because anything I would get invited to.
Yeah.
And if I was going, and I looked back, both of them were right there.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them, I don't need one.
Right.
And that's the way it was until, and of course, when Murphy stopped bringing home money, I started telling him, you better bring home some money. I said, because if you don't, I'm going to leave you. And we were married for 13 years. I kept telling him, but he still didn't bring home no money. Even after, that's when he stopped bringing it after Philip was born. Yeah. Because the night Philip was born, I think Simon came to the hospital before Murphy even found me.
Right.
And he kept sending me to the grocery store on Fridays, because he got paid on Friday. But when he got his check, he forget to come home or forget to bring me some money to shop with. And so since he forgot, I did too. And then another thing he did, after we got in our own nice apartment, I took out a checking account
Mhm.
and I kept the
Mhm.
book,
Yeah.
and he did. And so one weekend, on Friday, whenever I got home and Philip came home, I opened up the mail, and he had been to the bank and got some money, and
Mhm.
had a party without me,
Yeah.
and he hadn't put no money in the bank.
Right.
So I didn't say nothing. I didn't say a word to him.
Mhm.
So he decided one day, I was working, he decided he was going to go and have another party.
Wow.
So he went to the bank and he tried to get some money. And so
Mhm.
they told him that his name wasn't on the book anymore.
Right.
He didn't know because I didn't say a word to him.
Right.
I
Right.
just went on and dropped his name off the book because he ain't
Yeah.
going to put no money in there.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
And so when I got home, you didn't tell me you had taken my name off the book. I said, why should I? You didn't give me no money to put in there, did you?
Right.
And he said, he looked at me, he said, no. I said, well, then why should your name be on it?
Right.
Mm. He said, well, I know you put it on. I said, yeah, I put it on there. I said, and what you did, you went and got money out of the bank and you hadn't put nothing in there and bought liquor and stuff with it and didn't have no intention of putting nothing in there. I said, because you didn't even tell me about it.
Right.
I said, no, you're not getting no more of my money to buy no liquor with.
Mhm.
Just like that. And so he looked right straight at me. I said, well, yeah, I had your name taken off.
Mhm.
And so, wasn't nothing to do about it.
Right.
Not a thing. And so, I mean, I tell a person anytime what I would do and what I would not do.
Mhm.
Hmm. So they always knew in advance.
And now you were
And,
mentioning something about how Mr. Mickens took care of his grandchildren, and
oh yeah, oh yeah. He when he got so he started having grandchildren. Right. Well, where the land that we were living on, it was 2 1/3 acres, and so he bought another 2 acres, not too far from us, and he divided that between his daughter, his two grandchildren, like Tommy. You remember you want to call Tommy, and his sister. That was one a land for her, an acre for her and an acre for him. But Tommy's mother got sick, and she got very sick, and she was sick for a long time. And so he let her buy a trailer and put on that land so she'd have some place to stay. And we paid the taxes on that. And that was for his daughter and his two grandchildren. And after that, well, we had the other land too. And so when Ricky had his first son, he gave that grandson an acre of the one that we were on. He had that put in his will. Well, I didn't care because my daughter and my son was always had money. Because when I went to South Carolina, I had 3,000 and some dollars, 30,000 and some dollars, and it's still there right now. Right this minute, it's still there. Every penny that I carried to South Carolina is still there. So you know from that, he took care of me.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Because one day, one thing I had the money in, they took $2 from me. And I went down there and I wanted to know how come they're taking my money. And she said, something. I said, look, go get all my money and give it to me. And so I said, oh, Miss Mickens, I'll give you $2. Give it all to me. My $2 too. And so they give it to me, and that's where I put it now at First Citizen. I took it to First Citizen Bank and put it all in there. And it's been there ever since,
Mhm.
practically. Hmm. And anyway, after that, when he really got sick, was the 14th, 2714. Now he really got sick because when the doctor told him, by the way, we had a black doctor who was good to both of us, and he cared for us. He wasn't like these things you go to now. Yeah, he cared for us, and we went to him from the time he graduated from doctoring school.
Do you remember his name?
Yeah, Joseph Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, and his wife, and what was her name, Brenda. Yeah, and both of them were doctors. But me and Brenda, we didn't hit it off after a while there. Over money, of course, because they went on a vacation or something. Anyway, whenever Dr. Williams was on vacation, he would leave somebody in charge in case this patient gets sick. They know and have some place to go. And while they were gone, I went to the doctor. One of us went to the doctor. And when I paid my bill, she put a balance of, the girl put a balance of $25 on there. And so I wanted to know why. Because I know I didn't own no doctor bill. Because I paid whatever they tell me, which was the deduction from my insurance. And Simon heard me. Because I always, when they talk about my money, I get a little loud. And so he heard me, so he came up there to see what was wrong with me. And he heard me talking to her, and I don't know what he said to her. But anyway, I told him, let's go, because she ain't getting nothing else, because I had paid her what she said she wanted. I said, I ain't paying that balance that she got on there. And so we left. And so when Dr. Brenda, that's her name, Dr. Williams' wife's name was Brenda. And so when she came, when they got back off vacation, the nurse told her, the receptionist told her that Mr. Mickens, I thought he was going to pull me over that county. And so the first time we went to them after, when our appointment was up, we went when I came. The first thing she wanted to, she wanted us to come in the office. And she said, oh, I hear Mr. Mickens was going to pull one of the reception. I said, no. I said, he was not going to pull her no place. I said, she claimed that we owed $25 that we didn't owe. I said, I was not going to pay it and still not. And then she started explaining to me how come I wasn't going to pay the $25. And so I told her, I said, because number one, whenever I come here, I said, every time I come up there, I said, I don't ask how much y'all owe. I said, y'all could be cheating me anyway. I just write you a check and leave. I said, and this is the first time she ever had a balance on a bill of mine.
Right.
I said, I know there won't no bill on there.
Right.
And I wasn't going to rewrite no check. And then she started saying, well, that's what she got on. I said, well, I don't care what she got on there. I said, I ain't paying no $25 more. And so she said, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to pay it because I go to church. I said, I go to church too. And so he looked at me. Simon didn't get a chance in there. And so she said, and I stand in prayer line. I said, I stand in prayer line too. And she said, well, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, I know what I'm not going to do. And she said, well, I'm not going to pay you no more $25. And she looked right. She said, well, then I guess I have to put it on. I said, I don't care what you put it on. I said, I'm not paying. And I didn't.
Right.
So I guess she paid it. I guess she got it off in tax.
Yeah.
If she got it in tax because she sure didn't get it from me.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, all the time. See, that's how come I like to pay my bill, the whole bill, and get it off. And this way, I got something to talk about.
Okay. Now, would you like to leave a message for the young people that how they can benefit from the experience of your life, or you got a special message you like to let them know?
The special message I know to tell you that don't hold your hand out to somebody that your parents. Get yourself a job and try to take care of yourself so when they leave you, you can be able to take care of yourself. Because otherwise, I don't know what you're going to do. Because if it's for me, you have to take care of yourself. I had 2 kids, and I didn't spend no money on neither one of them. no more than I wanted to. They never want to come and ask me for no money.
You had mentioned how you had taught them how to save.
Well, everybody's supposed to know how to save, don't they? Mm-hmm. And well, the parents have to help them do that anyway, because like I did my son. When people give him money, I would take it and tell him he would be wanting to buy a lot of junk with it. I said, that's what you got a mom and a daddy for. They're supposed to take care of you. Other people's not. And he listened to me, and he didn't give me no argument about the money, because I would take whatever they give him and put it in the bank for him in his name, not mine. In his name, I put it. And with my daughter, my aunt raised her, but I would send her money in her name, so she'll know that I'm supporting her. I didn't send it to my aunt. I sent it to her. I said, this way, if you're not taking care of your children not living with you, whatever you have to give it to them in their name, and let them know who it's from. In this way, when they grow up, they can say, my mother took care of me, or my father took care of me. They don't have to say, my aunt. Or they can say, well, I was living with my aunt, or I was living with this person and that person, but my parents took care of me. Like that. And I think you'll get along much better with them.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much, Aunt Sarah,
You're
for your
welcome.
wise wisdom.